Hey, engravings are really hard, so we're going to explain them in depth here to remove all the confusion. So you want to start out by going to your character profile, or you can just hit P. So there's multiple ways to get your engraving, as the game calls it. So the engraving here is, think of it like passives that give you extra abilities. Not skills that are activatable, but passives. So you can get additional attack speed. You can get an ability like this one here where when you counter an enemy, you gain attack power and all party members get more damage. You also have a class engraving where you get to choose one of two that drastically changes the character's playstyle. So like combat readiness here for a gun lancer makes you more of a shield dependent rather than a damage dependent. There is a way to do damage with this build, but it is a lot more about keeping and maintaining shields. So you can completely change how the character plays. A lot of this is playstyle based, so you may want to have, say, an engraving like Grudge, where you deal more damage, but you take more damage, so it's a high risk, high reward. So the way that these work, and the confusion around it, is that everything is named engraving, so it gets confusing because of that. You can get your engraving passives, so these here, from your accessories, which you can see here, a gem slot, or not a gem because there is gems in the game. We're going to call it, it's a stone. It's a stone that you can cut. Then you also can get it from the actual engraving slot here on gear. So I'm going to remove these two. So these are your engraving slots. So it's 3 different locations to gain passives. And what I mean by that is each piece of gear will give you these little nodes. So you can see underneath the bar there is a node. You need 5 nodes to get level 1 in that ability. So you can see Crushing Fist gets level 1 at 5 nodes. So I have Crushing Fist from something in my gear, right? So I have a total of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 nodes coming from somewhere, which gave me level 1. I don't have level 2 yet because I haven't gotten the 10th node. So in this case, it is most likely, yeah, so I have 2 Crushing Fist on here. I have 7 on my stone. So stones give a large amount. So I have a total of 9 just between these 2 items. So this is how you can kind of cater your character based on your playstyle. I have not fully optimized yet. I'm still only in tier 2. Tier 3 is where you really want to optimize. But this is how you do it. Now, there is, generally speaking, a negative node as well. These are the red ones. So if you get too many into a negative stat, so in this case I have 3 nodes into move speed reduction on here. I have another, I believe it's on here, so there's -2 as well there. So a grand total I'm at 6. So I have this negative trait. I actually lose move speed because I've chose to have these engravings. So you want to try to get ones that give you pluses without the negatives, or spread out the negatives so that they're all down here and not filled up. So the really complicated portion here is now your engraving slots. So you can equip an engraving. If you click on that there, it's going to bring up this engraving bonus menu. These are a account wide, so it's throughout your whole roster. You can power these up by eating engraving books and learning the ability. So I'm going to use Explosive Expert as an example. So you can see at the bottom of this here, it has a bar and it says 1 out of 20. So I have eaten 1 book before. So currently, if I look for Explosive Expert inside that engraving menu, so let's alphabetize it. So we're going to go for E to find Explosive Expert right here. So you can see it's not unlocked. I can't do anything with it right now because I don't have it unlocked. I haven't learned it. So once you've learned the first stage, you can see it says next power node point is +3. That means when I equip this into these slots, it's going to go over into this engraving and it's going to give me 3 of that. So the way I'm going to show this is I'm going to actually eat those books. So this is not a particularly good ability for my class, but you know, I've thrown the gold at it so that I can show you guys. So we have 19 books here, so I'm 1 out of 20. So if I hold Alt and right click, I can consume all 19, or you can just right click one at a time. You'll see a little casting bar on your character. So I'm now 2 out of 20. So you need to get 20 of the uncommon book to get the first power node +3. So I'm going to eat all of those, and you'll see in my engravings, it pops up saying you've learned it. So in my engravings here, I now have it. Got a little red icon saying it's new. So this is a level 1 explosive expert. So I've done the uncommon. I have 3 nodes. So if I go to my engravings now, these ones here, you drag that over, or you can just right click them. Oh wait, no, you can't right click them. Okay, well, drag them over. You can put in these nodes. So I got +3 there and another +3 there. So if I remove that one, I should only have 3, unless any's on my gear, right? So we go to our engravings, we find Explosive Expert. I have 3 nodes. I have not unlocked the ability because I only have 3 nodes. So I either need to get an additional 2 nodes from either my accessories, so the engraving effect is a random roll whenever you drop gear, or a random roll on your stone that you then have to craft, which we'll get a whole video on how to craft those stones. So I can move another one of these over to get another +3, so I'm at +6. At +5, you get the ability, right? So now I have this ability. I gain an additional bomb item carrying limit during special fights. So you can bring bombs in. I can now bring in an additional one over somebody that doesn't have this. So if you look at this ability, it still has that bar, right? So now it's showing use rare engraving recipes to learn a better version of this, where it will go up to a +6 node per one of these equip slots. So these are 3 and 3. I can make them go up to 6 and 6. So I can go all the way to a +12 just for my engraving slots. So by doing that, I have preemptively gotten these. We have 19 untradeable ones, so I bought these ones, and then this one here I had drop, so it is a tradable version, so they will be 2 different item slots depending on how you're getting them. So you can go to the auction house, you can buy them up, or you can get them from quests this way. So I'm just going to eat this one, and then I'm going to eat all 19 of these. So now we're going to go from that green tier to the blue tier. So we have now learned Explosive Expert Tier 2. So going back into our engravings here, we're going to go back down to explosives. You see how it's red again? It's because it's new again. It's an upgraded version. So you can see power node point +6. So now each one of these will give me 6 points into that ability. And I can upgrade it again to the epic tier, which will give me +9. You can upgrade it again from there into legendary tier to get a +12 on it. So you can see how you can really mix and match your accessories, your stone, and these engravings to get the best effect, right? So I have a +2 or a level 2 here because I have 12 nodes just from equipping those 2 engravings. So my bomb and grenade item limit is now +2. If I found 3 more nodes via my accessories or my stone, I would go all the way up to +3. Now, why this is so powerful is because you can get an ability all the way up to a +12, so in the legendary tier. So over months you've accumulated the gold, or you've found the books and you've eaten them all. You're able to equip one that gives you a +12. You could have 2 different abilities at +12 and then just kind of barely finish them off with your gear, getting you 2 maxed out abilities, and then the rest of your gear getting more abilities. So generally speaking, I believe the best in slot is getting 5 abilities maxed out via these 3 systems. So this is your combat bonus engravings, but the real big one that every person should look into is getting your class engraving. You get to choose between one of 2. You can level them both up, but you can only have one of them active, usually because one will turn off the other's function. So combat readiness makes me able to do a lot of defensive stance stuff, whereas Lone Knight turns off defensive stance. It basically makes it not able to be used, but I do more damage. So in this case, I have got the green tier. I'm still working on the blue tier of this class engraving. So I equipped 2 of these to get +6. Now if I go to my engravings, I have more than +6 because I wanted a higher tier of this. So I specifically sought out, where is it? on here combat readiness plus 2 nodes, and this one's plus 2 nodes, and yeah, so I have plus 4, and then I have the 6 from here. So 3, 3, that's 6. Then from my 2 pieces here, I get an additional plus 4. It gives me a total of 10 nodes, which allows it to unlock the second tier, so I get a better version of the skill. Now, if I were to seek out another 5 via either my other accessories or maybe my stone, I actually don't think you can get class engravings on stones. I might be wrong on that. Or I can upgrade my book, this slot here, to get more per equipment and try to max that out. So this has been your guides to engravings and how they work. You've got your engraving passives menu, and then you have your engravings on your gear, your stone, and your engravings that you equip to these 2 slots. You gotta remember that it's 3 different sources, all contributing to the same passives menu to be able to power up your character. This is one of the biggest power spikes your character will get, especially from your class bonus. Just to give you an example here, like Lone Knight, 30% additional crit damage and 5% additional crit just at level 1. Like, that's huge. But you can't go into defensive stance, so it completely changes the playstyle of the character. Each character has very unique class engravings, so you want to mix and match your combat ones with whatever your playstyle choice is with your class one. All right, that's about it. So cheers. See you in the next one.